everybody, welcome back to Magenta Makes. And today, since where I am it's about a minus 30 with the wind chill, I thought it would be nice to set up my little miniature hot cocoa station and show you guys how I put it together. So stay tuned and I'll show you how I did it. Alright, so here we are starting out with just our furniture pieces. And the little buffet or hutch was a thrift find. I think it was about $2 and I painted that. And same for this little piece here, this little sideboard. I guess it's like a little dresser. That was natural wood and it might have been stained, and then I painted that pink for a different project. And then this little chair came in a bag of Christmas ornaments. Super cheap, thrifted. Couple dollars for the whole bag. So and it was already red, so I thought that was perfect. So the first thing we're gonna do, I guess, is we'll start out with our little gingerbread house. And I make a gingerbread house similar to this in another video. I do the Halloween one, but it's the same concept, a little birdhouse, little wooden birdhouse that I had painted up to look like gingerbread or chocolate, if you will, and then embellished with beads and some little Fimo candy canes. And this little tree embellishment is actually something I got, I think, from the dollar store, little bags of embellishment, so I stuck that on there. So that's going to go right on our board, and that'll be the start of our hot cocoa station. And then the next thing we need, of course, is a little jug for the hot cocoa. So I have this cute little brass jug, again thrifted. This one came I actually got a bunch of these, a big bag of little brass items, so that was very nice and good find. And then we have our little lantern, which I picked up at Michael's. They have in their miniature section, they have a lot of great finds there. So this was one of them. Not sure how much that one was. It might have been around $5, but I thought it was kind of essential to the hot cocoa station. The next item that I have is a little wooden stool, which we made. I say we because my husband helped me in the cutting of the wood, and that's kind of his expertise. And then I just glued it together and painted it and kind of distressed it a little bit, sanding the edges to make it look not so new. So we'll have that right there. And then on top of there, I have a little bundle of Christmas napkins. And I just made these out of some scraps of Christmas fabrics. And I have another one here that's not a part of the bundle. So it's just a square of Christmassy fabric. And I just pick these up at thrift stores when I see them. And then I just cut the squares, ironed it, cut the little squares, and then folded them. And then I made a cute little bundle and tied it with some string. So I think I'll just have that there because you need to have some napkins. We're going to be maybe making a bit of a mess. I don't know. But I have some other fabrics here to show you. You know, I chose a small pattern. Something with a bit of a smallish pattern so that when you do cut it up, it looks appropriate. This one is not, I don't even think that's a Christmas pattern. But it's nice and small. It's red and white, so that would be appropriate. So just keep your eyes open, save your fabric scraps, and then you'll be able to make little napkins for any occasion. So the next thing that we're going to put in our little scene is our tray, our serving tray. This is just a little piece of balsa wood, again, that you get at Michael's. And I bought a package of these, and I made a Ouija board out of one. And so I thought that I needed a serving tray. So I just hot glued some wooden beads onto the bottom of that, and that becomes our serving tray on the shelf there. And then I'll put our little napkin. I love this one, has a little log cabin on it. So cute. So put that there. And the next item we have are our little china teacups and saucers. So these I actually got them at a yard sale in a little tea set. I got the whole set. Little teapot, cream and sugar. Now I won't use that today. But I got those in a little set for, I believe it was $2. So that was a steal. Couldn't pass that one up when I saw it. Oh, there we go. Let's get the little teacup on there. I don't have little mugs, which I'd love to have. So maybe that'll be something I'll have to make. And then the next thing we have are little metal spoons. And these are metal. These are actually metal. And I think they came in a little camping set that I got at Michael's. So they come with little plates and spoons. So we just need the spoons today. But I do have the plates that go with it. They're super cute. So each cup gets a little spoon there because you're going to want to stir in your sweet things. And then the next thing I have is this little cookie tin, and I just thought this was adorable. We were at a miniature show and sale, Dollhouse show and sale in Toronto just this last fall, and I saw this and I just, oh my gosh, I have to have it. So it's a cute little brass tin, and it has a Christmas motif. There's Santa there. So I just had to have it. I think I paid $8 for it. That was a bit of a splurge, but I loved it. So sometimes you just have to buy what you love. All right, so the next thing we have is our little cookies. There's our little gingerbread boy, and I just used a salt dough to make these, and I cut them out with little Fimo cutters that you get at Michael's. They sell them in the Fimo section where they have the Fimo, and they have all different cutters. They're great. So they have stars and you know, snowman and everything. So we make a lot of little miniature cookies with those. So it's a good investment. They're not super cheap, but they're a good investment. You'll use them for lots of things. So, and then we have, of course, a jar of those cookies. So we'll just put those up on the top shelf in case somebody wants another one. And then we have our little snowman sugar cookie, which I made in a previous video. Dollhouse, miniature Dollhouse sugar cookies. It's a salt dough, and then you just paint it with craft paint. So somebody's going to have one of those. They look delicious. And there's a couple more sugar cookies on that tray just for good measure. Can't have too many cookies, I think. And, okay, so what's next? Oh, so the next thing we have, of course, is this adorable little Santa hat. It's just an accessory, but it kind of goes, and I just thought it would look super cute just sitting on the corner of that chair like that. And then the next item that I included were these little presents that I made, and they are just pieces of cardboard that I cut into little squares and rectangles, and then I wrap them with some wrapping paper. And the actual wrapping paper that I like to use, because it's really good high quality stuff, is the wrapping paper that comes from one of my favorite shops. I don't know if you can see well, these ones are from Purdy's Chocolates. And I'm lucky enough to get Purdy's Chocolates every Christmas in my stocking. So I just love it. It's a really thick paper, and so I just thought it would last a long time. And, you know, it's nice to reuse something instead of throwing it in the garbage. So I do save those, and so we put those in the fairy house too. All right, so the next item we have is our little Fimo candy canes. We made these actually as accessories for the gingerbread houses. So we made a lot when we made them, so we have extra. And then there's a little jar of our sugar cookies. There's snowflakes and stars and all kinds of good things there, so we'll need those. And what's the next item we have? We have our little nutcracker. This is actually a Christmas ornament. He had a little hook in him, so we took the little hooks out, little eyelet hook, and those are the perfect size for any kind of miniature dollhouse, fairy house, whatever you're doing. So he goes there because he looks great. And then I have these little wooden presents, and honestly, these have been around for a long time. So I think these came from Michael's also. Sometimes when you're there, you just can't resist getting a little bag of cute little miniatures and bringing them home. And the next item we have are these little Christmas cards. And these Christmas cards I also show in a previous video. These are made, I'm going to put this up on the shelf there. These ones are made out of actual Christmas cards. So when you get your Christmas cards, the design, you'll see the design in the front. Sometimes on the backs of them, they have these little miniature image double of what's on the front. And so I just cut those out and fold them, and I use those to make Christmas cards. And there's another one right there for the fairy house, for the doll houses. We have them strung up in the fairy house. I'll show that in another video. But that's, I thought a couple of Christmas cards would be appropriate there. And then we have our little jar of peppermint candies. And these are just seed beads that we noticed had little red stripes on them. They look just like peppermint, so we had to include that. And a little jar of marshmallows. These are just little bits of craft foam cut up to look like marshmallows. You have to have marshmallows with your hot cocoa. And then there's an actual little bottle of cocoa. I just put some cocoa in there. So you could really you could add jars if you wanted to add cinnamon sticks would be cute. You could just get sticks from outside. They would resemble cinnamon sticks. And of course a little rolling pin to show that we actually did the baking, because we're bakers. We're expert bakers. And then I'll include my little cookie cutters. Now these are actually not the cookie cutters that we used to make our cookies. These are, they're just decorative, but they look like cookie cutters, and they're supposed to be cookie cutters. So I thought they would be great as part of the little scene here. Let's see if I can get them to rest nicely there. And so there we have it. That's our miniature dollhouse or fairy house hot cocoa station, all ready for someone to come and snuggle up and get warm and try to tough through these cold winter days. I hope that you've got some good ideas out of this. I hope that you try and do your own hot cocoa station. I had a lot of fun doing it, and I can just, as I'm doing it, I can think of a million other things I'd like to add, so I might do a new one and add some other elements next time. But thanks a lot for watching, you guys, and stay warm and enjoy your winter, and Happy New Year. Bye-bye.